Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Kevin Jackwitz. This is the Kaged Review, and this is my review for Logan. And I think I actually did this movie review when it came out. I'm not completely positive. This is about the time I started doing movie reviews, but regardless, this is easily one of my favorite movies of the genre. This was a lot of great performances. So this is the big send-off for Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. He is actually done playing Wolverine. And they do it right, man. They really have a movie with consequences and casualties here. And that's what I loved. You do not get this kind of movie from the comic book genre as a general rule. Directed by James Mangold. You have Hugh Jackman, of course, as Logan, Wolverine. And he plays the alter version of himself, a later clone version called X-24. Patrick Stewart is here as Charles Xavier, Professor X, Stephen Merchant as Caliban, Daphne Keane as Laura or Weapon 11, Boyd Holbrook as Pierce, and Elizabeth Rodriguez as Gabriella, who was Daphne Keene's, Laura's sitter in this testing facility, hospital. And so the whole premise here is this is in the future. Wolverine is losing his powers. He's actually aging. He's taking a lot of damage now. And he still heals. And he's still taking shots that would certainly kill most people. But it's not as rapid a healing as it used to be, and it's getting slower and slower. And so throughout this movie, you see him taking more and more damage and actually taking the damage and the effects it has on him. Professor X is kind of being exiled because he has some degenerative brain disease, and so he goes into seizures now. And unfortunately, when he does that, his mind locks onto other people, and it can kill them, as we've heard in other movies. And so we find out throughout this movie that Professor X accidentally killed most of the people in his school because when this started, apparently it was a bad scenario and he just wound up accidentally killing a lot of people. And so Wolverine kind of has them, sedated and secluded. There is this story where this woman, Gabriella, is looking for Logan, finds him, and then, through a series of events, he finds out that there is this girl who is a mutant that Gabriella is trying to get Wolverine to take to the Canadian border so she can go across to this place called Eden, where there's supposed to be a bunch of new mutants, which is very unique because they're of the mind, Wolverine is of the mind anyway, that there are no new mutants, and mutants are dying off. And so he finds out that Weapon 11, Laura, is actually his daughter. They used his tissue and his DNA to create her. And so the Essex Corps, through all this experimentation, actually made not only Laura, but X-24, who is literally the clone of Wolverine. It is Hugh Jackman playing the character, the identical clone. And so he's, X-24 is something that they can kind of control a little bit more, though. And so they actually use X-24 to take out a lot of characters here. The first major death here is he actually kills Charles Xavier. Charles is in bed. X-24 is there. He thinks it's Wolverine. And then, boom, stabs him right through the chest. Holy shit, dude. That was a shocker if ever there was one. I don't know that there weren't too many people that were just like, damn. And then the performances from Hugh Jackman throughout this movie were phenomenal, especially when he was burying Patrick Stewart. And it's this thing where they were both grumpy old guys and they're bickering back and forth at each other. But you knew there was love there, and so when he died, Logan didn't know how to deal with it, and Laura was trying to be there for him, and he couldn't accept that. So there were a lot of really good touches like that throughout the movie. Um, Eventually, Logan does get Laura to this group of mutants, and then here comes the Essex Corps, or whatever they are in the movie. They basically trail these two to this compound, and so all the students are taking off, they're being chased, and now Logan has to have this big final fight where a bunch of these mutants are fighting these guys, and Wolverine has to join into the fight. And then, of course, there is X-24, who winds up just taking out Logan at the end. He literally spikes a tree, a broken piece of a tree, right through his chest. And at the end of the day, Laura shoots X-24 in the head with adamantium round, and like just his head explodes, at least off to the one side. So X-24 is dead, Wolverine's dead, Professor X is dead. The only people you have left alive are Laura and the other mutants. So it was a hell of a story, man. It was a hell of a story. It was greatly acted by Patrick Stewart, Hugh Jackman, and Daphne Keane. I thought they were all fucking phenomenal in this movie, truly and honestly. I liked that it was a smaller scale. I liked that you didn't have the big cast and all the big special effects. It was just a few people in a very relationship-based story, and I loved that. It really added to the movie. Like this, everything about this was phenomenal. The directing was absolutely great. I thought the special effects when they were there were excellent. So yeah, man, it was a fun movie, and it really brought some emotional weight to it, which I was happy to see. I'm not gonna lie, there were a couple of times I was like, there is no fucking way they just did that. But they did, and it was awesome. It really was an amazing movie. So ladies and gentlemen, I was very big on this movie. I give it a 10 out of 10, straight up, easy, no fucking question. Let me know what you guys think about it in the comments below. If you enjoyed this, hit the like button, subscribe, and share. My name is Kevin Jackowitz, Kaged Nation, out.